Hi, John Langan here, traffic safety and crash expert.
I am a traffic, crash, and safety expert with over 40 years of experience. And I had 15 years as a police officer working in the highway safety unit and investigating fatal traffic crashes.
Today we're going to go for a ride. It is a nice day for a ride.
And since then, I've been also an expert in crash reconstruction and testify in court in civil litigation and also on vehicular homicide cases. Traffic crashes are the #1 cause of death for all people in the United States under the age of 35.
First things first, and that means seatbelt on.
The UN has declared it a world crisis, and they just dedicated next decade, 2011 to 2020, as a decade of action. Their goal is to save 5 million lives. And the #1 factor for drivers is vision. You have to accumulate information to make decisions as you're driving down the roadway.
And remember that traveling at miles per hour, what that represents is feet per second. And crashes don't happen in miles per hour, they happen feet per second.
This is the forensic aspects of driver perception and response by Dr. Paul Olson from the University of Michigan. In the introduction, the first line says, under the fundamentals of vision and driving, it says, vision is undoubtedly the main source of information necessary to the operation of an automobile. 90% of essential driving-related information is acquired visually.
We're picking up some glare off of this dashboard, and even though it's dull, it's very bright.
The biggest danger in driving is the breakdown in perception and vision, and that would be distraction, impairment, such as alcohol or drugs, or sun glare. Sun glare is an impairment.
And now we got two brilliant glare spots affecting both sides of us at the same time. We have glare and stereo.
You got to be able to see where you're going. You can't avoid what you don't see.
If I had to flip my visor down like this, first of all, you got to take your hand off the wheel and everything. If you do, well, that would have done absolutely nothing for the glare problem we just discussed.
The proper sun wear can actually provide you the best chance of dealing with sun glare.
It can certainly add seconds to your reaction time, and that could be the difference of a crash, no crash, injuries, no injuries, life and death.
I've personally worked in crashes where pedestrians have been run over and killed on nice days.
And that is a huge problem in traffic crashes, and especially with pedestrians. They believe that because they can see you, that you can see them, and that's not always the case.
I also had crashes where, due to sun glare, driver didn't see a deer and didn't take any evasive action whatsoever. So now the deer's flying through the air, 60 miles an hour, into the car coming the opposite direction, went through the windshield and killed the passenger. And his mother was sitting in the front seat, passenger seat, and died right next to him. There's sunglasses out there that could have afforded protection and could have yielded enough time to react to avoid the collisions.
Children are even more vulnerable, and that could result in a serious crash where they run out into a street or walk out in the street or ride their bicycle out into the street. Glare off all the parked cars. If you notice that, man, I just got a big blast, and it's a good thing I got some sunglasses on. When my kids started driving, that's when I got gray hair.
The highest fatality group of all drivers is teenagers. And this is why I think it's especially important for parents to know. You want your child to have the best chance to survive. Listen, you cannot eliminate the risk from the #1 cause of death out there threatening them, but you can greatly minimize the danger to them. Well, one of those ingredients would be the right eyewear and sunglasses. I spent 40 years, a major part of my life, just living in the last 3 seconds of someone else's life. I've been to the scenes and seen the horror out there. I've been into the autopsies. I've been in the ER rooms. I've knocked on the doors and had to tell parents their children are never coming home again. 3 seconds could be the window difference between someone's driving down the road alive and vibrant, healthy as could be. Entire families. 3 seconds later, they're on the side of the road or in the middle of the intersection, they're dead. I know families are still not recovered from losing children that died 30 years ago. And so when you think of that, what's at stake, I can't stress this enough. It is the most dangerous thing the average person will ever do in their entire life, is drive.